Bismillah. Let's get the questions out. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. شيخنا العزيز, welcome to Marfa al-Shabab al-Fatimi on behalf of Hilal Fatimiyya Australia. I welcome you and thank you for your time with us today. Sheikhna, today we are commemorating the Battle of Mu'tah and the martyrdom of Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, Ja'far al-Tayyar. We thank you so much for your presence here today with us. Sheikh al-Ghali, salam alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله يحفظكم إن شاء الله, brother Rida. It's an honor for me to do this interview and to commemorate the Battle of Mu'tah and commemorate all the events that happened in it. Since we can gain a lot of lessons from the Battle of Mu'tah and from the individuals that were martyred in the Battle of Mu'tah, and on top of them is Ja'far al-Tayyar, this holy individual that had a very special place in the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. We ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to grant us his shafa'ah in the hereafter and to grant us the tawfiq as well
Ilahi,
to
amin.
perform on like occasionally at least the prayers that is dedicated after his name, Salah Ja'far al-Tayyar.
Yes,
And
yes.
we ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to avenge him with Sahib al-Asr al-Zaman, Ajal Allah ta'ala farajim al-Sharif.
I know it was last minute, so please, Sheikh, do forgive us, but the best man for the job we have here today.
Welcome, inshallah. Yeah, since it's been recorded, I have to smile about
Or else you want to kill me, I understand.
that.
Habibi Sheikhna. So tell me, what is the Battle of Mu'tah? What happened? Where did it take place? So what is this Battle of Mu'tah?
So there is an important introduction that we should be aware of, and the people should be informed about when it comes to the battles that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did,
Yes.
uh, either by person or by sending a group. The Battle of Mu'tah was a battle between the Muslimin and the Christians of the Romans in the area of Mu'tah, which is in Jordan.
Hmm.
So Ja'far al-Tayyar was one of the three leaders on that. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even before Hijrah, before leaving Medina to Mecca, he had sent groups of people to preach, to deliver the message, to go to the kings of the earth and tell them about the message of Islam.
Message of Islam,
And
yes.
Ja'far al-Tayyar was the first with the group of Muhajirin that left Mecca towards Habasha. Some people they consider it's a political refuge, but it wasn't like that. He went there to preach and to teach about Islam, which he was the perfect candidate for it because he represented Islam. He loved the good qualities and the good principles, since Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, according to the hadith, that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala purified him from four things, as the hadith mentions, that one of them is like he didn't drink wine, or like four things that is mentioned in the hadith. So he was the perfect candidate to go to Habasha, and the king al-Najashi was the one of the kings
So
uh, that he was guided and he became a Muslim, and he protected Ja'far al-Tayyar from Quraysh, and he refused, while he was still Christian, he refused to give him to Quraysh. So Rasulullah sent a lot of groups until he came. So he went to Habasha
and
before. No,
now
hold
continue.
on. Sorry.
Continue.
Yeah, he went to Habasha before the Hijrah, the migration of the Prophet sallallahu wasallam alayhi, and he came back after Fatah Khaybar, after the fifth of Al-Hijrah, and then the Prophet sallallahu wasallam alayhi after that appointed him on the 3,000 people of the Muslimin on the Battle of Mu'tah, and then some people they say that the reason behind the Battle of Mu'tah is Rasulullah, when he sent a group. Every time Rasulullah would send a group to preach and to deliver the message, they would be faced with arrows straight away. So they would be the people to start the battle with the Prophet. And every time someone gets killed, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the person that he sent according to the instructions of Rasulullah, would invite them to Islam. Because what is the reason behind this? Not because he wanted to force the people upon Islam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted everyone to be guided, and these people who were in the leadership, they formed an obstacle between the people and between being guided and being successful in the hereafter. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a message that he had to deliver, and it was his duty. And even though that people maybe they would say the shahadat like verbally, and they wouldn't have believe internally, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam still agreed to this because at least they should see the beauty of this religion. But these leaders were the obstacles. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't initiate any war. In fact, when he sent a group just to deliver the message, they would face them with fighting. And before Mouta, he had sent a group towards Bilad al-Sham, to the north of Medina. That's when the first time he wanted to go across the borders towards the north. And on top of them was Al-Harith. He went to Busra in order to guide, in order to deliver the message to Hercules and
Was
Qaisar.
Ja'far or this was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi
No,
wasallam?
this was before Mu'ta, and this was, some people they say the reason behind the Battle of Mu'ta was this,
Oh, so that's
because
it. Okay.
he sent a Sariya, he sent a group in order to deliver the message, but on top of them was a man by the name Al Harith. So Al Harith got killed by a governor in the Bilad al Sham. Okay, his name was Shurhabil. When he heard the news that the Prophet sent a group to deliver the message, he came to him. He said, "Are you of the messengers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" He
Allahu
said,
Akbar.
"Yes." Then they decapitated him and killed him. And then when Rasulullah got the news about it, he told the Muslimin, and the Muslimin prepared themselves just outside Medina. And that's when the Romans, they heard about this and they started to prepare themselves. So then that's when Rasulullah told Ja'far, he said to the people of the 3,000 people that your leader is Ja'far al-Tayyar. And if Ja'far dies, then Zayd ibn Haritha. And if Zayd ibn Haritha dies, then Ibn Rawaha, Abdullah ibn Rawaha should lead. And after that, if Abdullah ibn Rawaha dies, then you choose one to be your leader. So that's the Battle of Mu'ta. Simply was, some people they say because Al-Harith, the messenger of Rasulullah, who went peacefully, got killed. But according to some of the muhaqqiqeen, they say that Rasulullah didn't announce the reason behind this battle. But one of the things that triggered the Muslimin to go and fight was the killing of Al-Harith. Al-Harith. So three of them, they marched and they met with the 100,000 people, 100,000 soldiers of the army of the Romans faced them in Mu'ta, and that's where they fought for about 3-4 days, 5 days.
So why did he appoint Ja'far? Is it only because he followed these four characteristics? He had these four characteristics, or is it because he had some sort of relationship to Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam? Or is he a noble character? What was so special that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa chose Ja'far specifically?
So Ja'far al-Tayyar, subhanallah, that you mentioned this, it's a funny thing how the people have this kind of thing in their heart towards Amir al-Mu'minin salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. He's the brother of Ali ibn Abi Talib, but that wasn't the only reason. Ja'far al-Tayyar was the second person after Amir al-Mu'minin to join Islam and to pray behind Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ali.
Wallahu
And his
alaihi
father
wa alihi.
Talib used to always encourage him to go and pray behind Rasulullah. Even Ja'far al-Tayyar is older than Amir al-Mu'minin by 10 years. And then he used to be the second person and with Amir al-Mu'minin to pray behind Rasulullah. So of course, Rasulullah, the same way he doesn't put anyone, a leader, above Amir al-Mu'minin, there is no way that he would put anyone above Ja'far al-Tayyar. Even though that you notice in of course, the Shia, they say that Ja'far al-Tayyar was the first leader, while the other schools of thought, they say that the first leader was Zayd ibn Haritha,
Yeah.
and then Ja'far al-Tayyar. And even with these small things, just out of the hatred to Amir al-Mu'minin, because he's the brother of Amir al-Mu'minin, salawatullahi wasalam alayhi, and the son of Abu Talib. Abu Talib, this great individual that they claim that he is wal-iyadhu billah, kafir wal-iyadhu billah.
Yes.
So Ja'far al-Tayyar, because he's such a holy individual, And not only because he's the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he was the first after Amir al-Mu'mineen to join Islam and to present it and manifest it with his actions, not only by words like other individuals that claim to be the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, of course, when it comes to leadership, Rasulullah takes into consideration the best of the best, and then those who follow him in the rank. When it comes to dedication to Islam, when it comes to sincerity, when it comes to their status as a holy individual.
Subhanallah. I did not know that. So Ja'far alayhi afdal salatu salam, he was after Amir al-Mu'mineen to get into
Percent.
Islam. SubhanAllah. That's a new thing. I didn't know that. SubhanAllah. People always
Yeah,
usually like they're like, oh, like they're trying to make out that, oh, just because he's the son of Abu Talib, or just because he's the brother of Ali alayhi salam, they would usually get this type of stuff, but that's not necessarily the case.
percent. Especially with the sacrifice they had already done by going to Habasha and spending years from before, يعني 5 years after the birth of the Prophet. 5 years after the announcing of the prophethood, Ja'far al-Tayyar went to Habasha and he spent years there teaching Islam. And then he came back, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said after Fatah Khaybar, imagine that victory of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said, I don't know what occasion I should be happy for more. Is it the opening of Khaybar, or is it the arrival of Ja'far al-Tayyar?
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
Now, Sheikh, you've been referring so far to him, obviously, as Ja'far al-Tayyar, not Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. How come you are calling him Ja'far al-Tayyar? What does al-Tayyar mean?
So Ja'far al-Tayyar, this is a nickname that he gained. It's like kind of a trophy that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him, and Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala gave him after the battle of Mouta, where the 3,000 people they faced the army of the Romans in Mouta, and only 11 or 12 of them were martyred. And Ja'far died, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in front of the people, showing them, telling them, because Rasulullah was seeing what was happening in the battle while he was in Medina, and the army was in Mu'ta. So the Prophet was telling about the heroism and about the valor of Ja'far al-Tayyar and Zayd ibn Haritha and Abdullah ibn Rawaha, was telling them about the valor and the courageous acts that they were doing. So he started when Ja'far al-Tayyar was fighting, and Ja'far al-Tayyar, his horse was the first horse to attack in Islam. What does it mean? When I mean attack, was the first horse that was الذي عُقِرَ بالإسلام. Like how he attacks and charges against the enemy with the horse, to a point that the horse got 86 of the wounds of the swords and the what's it called, and the spears. So the first horse to die in battle fighting was the horse of Ja'far al-Tayyar. Imagine what kind of valor that he had. And then Rasulullah told him he lost his right arm as he was fighting, and then he lost his left arm, and another man came and struck him on his head. And that's when Rasulullah started to weep and cry for Ja'far al-Tayyar, and the Muslimin were crying. So how did he gain this nickname? That's when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew about the killing of Ja'far al-Tayyar. He went to his wife Asma bint Umays, and then he told her, which of course Asma bint Umays lived very close to Al-Masjid, next to the house of Fatima al-Zahra and Ali ibn Abi Talib. And then he went to her, he said to her, call upon the children of Ja'far al-Tayyar, and then Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, and then she called upon Muhammad and Aun and Abdullah, three of the children of Ja'far al-Tayyar. And then he started to cry and wipe upon their heads. And then Asma bint Umays, she said, Ya Rasulullah, why are you doing this to my children like they are orphans? Then he said to her, Ja'far al-Tayyar is martyred. And then she started to weep and cry. He said to her, do not cry, that Allah tabarak wa ta'ala compensated him with wings in heaven, wings that he flies with. That's where At-Tayyar came from. At-Tayyar is the one that flies. So he has, instead of the hands, Allah tabarak wa ta'ala gave him wings like the angels. So this is the compensation, and this takes us as well to an important lesson: the system of compensation that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala put. that when we take it as a rule, it helps us through all the trials and the calamities in the dunya. As Imam Sadiq alayhi salam speaks about his grandfather Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he says, لقد عوض الله جدي الحسين, that Allah تبارك وتعالى compensated my grandfather Abu Abdullah al-Hussein for his sacrifices in Karbala with three things: that he made the imams of his offspring, and he made the dua accepted under his dome, and he made the cure and the healing in his turba. So this is the system of compensation that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has, that nothing that we do, no sacrifice that we give is going to go in vain, that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will give us something that is much more precious than what we lost.
Subhanallah. Wow. هنيئا له. رضوان الله تعالى على جعفر الطيب. Now, Sheikh, why is it of such an importance to commemorate these type of events? Now, we wouldn't say he's one of the 14 infallibles. So why is it, and it's not, this battle is not as great of a battle as Uhud or Khaybar or Hunain. So why is it of such importance so we should revive this type of event, an event similar to this?
Yeah. First of all, it's very important to know all the events about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, everything, because we will notice the infallibility of the Prophet. We will notice the greatness of the Prophet through all of these events, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't break the chain in any action. Okay, and at the same time, when it comes to the Battle of Mouta, I'll give you an example. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when yani this is as well important, like especially nowadays when you see that how the students of Rasulullah, how Rasulullah taught his people, and how others deal when it comes to battles. For example, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the news of the killing of Al Harith Al Azdi, he got upset about it, and then he told the Muslimin about it, and that's when the Muslimin got prepared and went to fight the governor of Mouta in Jordan. And of course, he gave a sermon. He said, "Ukhzu bismillah wad'uhum," go invade in the name of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And of course, the word invade here, it's not as the meaning of it is not how it's understood in English. Like invasion, when you go and initiate the attack and invade another country. But here, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they killed a man that came to them in peaceful. He said, like, as in, like, invade by taking the message of Islam to them. وَادْعُوهُمْ إِلَى الْإِسْلَامِ, and invite them to Islam. If they join, then accept them and stop your fight. Otherwise, only fight the enemy of Allah and your enemy in Asham. And then he said, وَسَتَجِدُونَ رِجَالًا فِي الصَّوَامِعِ مُعْتَزِلِينَ النَّاسِ. You will see people that are isolating themselves from the others. They're not doing anything. Do not kill them. Do not cause them any harm.
Right.
And then you will find others that that the shaitan has planted things in their head. So take that off them. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا إِمْرَأَ. Do not kill a woman. Do not kill a child. Do not kill an old man. Do not even cut a tree. And do not even وَلَا تَهْدُمُوا بَيْتًا. And do not even destroy a house.
Allah, all this is the wasiyah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ahsant. And then you will notice through reading these battles that every now and then, Rasulullah, every man that goes, he tells them to accept Islam. And then you will notice that after the battle of Mouta, the Muslimin came back and they were defeated because Ja'far al-Tayyar was martyred, and then after that Zayd ibn Harith, and then after that what's his name, Abdullah ibn Rawaha. And then some narrations, they say that they didn't accept they didn't choose anyone, then they came back. Some narrations, they said that the Muslimin, they chose Khalid ibn al-Walid, and then Khalid ibn al-Walid surrendered, and he retreated with the army. So only 12 people got killed, and then they retreated. So when they came back defeated,
Khalid
the
was the coward.
Well, yeah, Ahsan. This is what usually happens with Khalid ibn Walid. Ahsan. He can only raise the sword against women, like what he did with Fatima al-Zahra, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayha, behind the door. So, this is what we read about these individuals. So when they came back defeated, the mushrikeen took advantage, the mushrikeen of Mecca, they took advantage of this and they broke the Treaty of Hudaybiyah and they attacked one of the alliances of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's when Rasulullah, he went in secret, of course, after he met Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, and then Abu Sufyan, he told Abu Sufyan to, after they were very close, and he told his army to put fires surrounding Mecca from every direction. So they think that there's a lot of people with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he did that because he wanted to minimize the harm towards the people. And then no one got killed, and Mecca was open at the time. It was in the same year of the Battle of Mouta, because the Battle of Mouta happened in the year 8th of Al-Hijrah in Jamad al-Ula, like this month, while Fatah Mecca happened in the month of Ramadan. And of course, when they entered Mecca, all the people, he told them, like, you throw your weapons outside and you stay in your homes, then you'll be safe. And of course, a lot of people joined Islam. That's when the verse came, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا. People started, of course, people, when you see that the leaders of the area, they do not agree for the Islam to enter, they are causing an obstacle between the people and the guidance. But when people discovered this religion and they saw its beauty, and then they joined Islam. So when we read about, for example, these battles, it tells us about the beauty of this individual that is called Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Will Durant, which is an atheist author, wrote in his book, The Story of Civilizations. He said, if you want if the standards of evaluating a person is by what he achieved and the greatness, well, I forgot the exact quote. He said, then we would consider the greatest of the greatest is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we learn about this, and then as well we see individuals like Ja'far al-Tayyar, who was not born infallible, and he who has, like,
individuals.
Ahsant, like, proves to us that religion is not that hard to achieve, and the perfection, that it's not hard to achieve. That I'm not infallible, Ja'far al-Tayyar is not infallible, and Ja'far al-Tayyar was dedicated and he sacrificed everything. Then I can do the same when it comes to the kalimatul haqq and the right path and the truth. And this is, of course, only 1% of the lessons that we can learn. As I mentioned, the biography of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's very important for us to educate ourselves about, since there are a lot of misconceptions that are brought up by people. I'll give you one example. Like, a lot of people, they bring up what happened in Khaybar and after Ma'arakat al-Khandaq, al-Ahzab.
Yes.
How the Jews came, the Jewish people, and they wanted to attack Medina. And then when the Muslimin were victorious and Rasulullah pushed towards Khaybar, the people of Khaybar, they refused to come down. They refused to take the judgment of the Prophet. They were afraid. They didn't know that if you look upon the misconceptions that are brought by other sects of the Muslimin, they say that the Prophet in that event, he killed thousands of people. In fact, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they didn't want the judgment of Rasulullah. They wanted the judgment of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. And Sa'd ibn Mu'adh was injured and sick. And then when they spoke to Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, he says that only the people who killed and fought should be killed. And it was about 90 something people. And this is Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. Imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his mercy. How many people did he free? He said to them, "Antu idhabu antum at-tulaqa." When they said, he knew that they were hypocrites, and he knew that they were liars, but he didn't judge them upon the what's in their hearts. He said, "Idhabu antum at-tulaqa," and he freed them, even though that they caused a lot of harm. Sorry, just 1 second.
Take it, Mohsen.
Yeah. So, reading about Battle of Mouta and the individuals that participated in it, and how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam definitely has an impact upon our aqidah, upon our knowledge. يعني at the same time upon our personality. If we want to improve with our personality, we look up to these individuals. Because when we see the greatness of individuals that were students of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then we have no doubt about the infallibility and the greatness of the Prophet himself. And all of these misconceptions, we give the priority to what is suitable to the personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and who represents Islam.
عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام صلى الله عليه وسلم. Sheikhna Aziz, this brings an end to our interview, our little discussion today. I thank you so much for your time, even though it was last minute, but
It's an honor and
subhanAllah,
it is a pleasure, honestly. It is
definitely
an honor. It is a pleasure. I was just like trying to tease you. That's it.
Habibi Sheikhna. Wallah, honestly, I learned so like from this little chat we had today. I learned so much. Inshallah, a lot of people will also benefit so much. The amount of
حبيبي.
knowledge that you did put into this, like, truly was something great.
جزاك الله. الله
Sheikhna.
يحفظكم إن شاء الله
الله
ويخليك يا
يوفقك
رب.
ويحفظك إن شاء الله. Sheikhنا العزيز. الله يستر.